Having me.
Would you mind starting off by telling our audience a little bit about you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm American, if you can't tell already. I was sort of born and bred in New York, and went through various kind of career changes, eventually landing up in London, doing a PhD, and then becoming the head of operations for a tech company in the employee benefit space. And I very quickly after getting married had a daughter and really found myself sort of at sea with that change that comes with new parenthood, not really knowing kind of what to do with myself and this free time, really not free time, but this unstructured time that I hadn't had really ever in my life. And the only way I could really kind of find my feet again was to go back to work quite quickly by UK standards, so around 6 months. And that's the same time that you typically introduce solids to a baby. So it was that sort of confluence of events that made me realize just how outdated the services available to modern parents are in the UK. There was nothing as a brand or as a product was speaking to the working parent, to the parent that needed that support, that wasn't surrounded by family, that wasn't surrounded by really that village that you need. So that led me to start working on Mamamade, and we now deliver everything that parents need to create delicious, nutritious, home-cooked meals for their babies. And yeah, it's been a journey, but I'm really pleased to see it now taking shape 1 year later, and yeah, doing quite well, thankfully.
It's a fascinating story. I think our listeners will really resonate with your process, and I think myself, I also not so long ago, 3 years ago, had a baby too, and it's such a life-changing moment, isn't it? So I think, but having said that, starting a business is also a life-changing moment. So you combine the two, and that is not easy. I actually had to stop working personally for a few years when my son was born. I don't know how people function without the sleep, and so how have you managed?
I mean, thankfully finding a very good nursery, I would say, is just that was my way of finding support, was being able to find that structured environment around her. Very lucky to have a very supportive partner who was really sort of pushing me to pursue this dream. And then working in a day job that was also very supportive. They essentially incubated the idea of Mamamade when I was going back to work, and then I had this idea and I was speaking about it with them. They really encouraged me to actually stay in my job, keep earning money, until it got to a point where it just wasn't really sustainable anymore. But yeah, it has been a bit like having two babies in 2 years sort of feeling, I would say. Definitely growing a business and is not too dissimilar from having an actual child.